Sean Cole with Inside Sim Racing here, and a long time ago I had a chance to check out the FREX sim wheel, and I was completely blown away by the quality and the innovation that FREX brought to the sim market. And ever since then I've wanted to get my hands on some other FREX products to test them out on the show. And anybody who's ever gone to their website to look at what they have knows exactly what I'm talking about, because they have countless amount of cool products. So after much waiting, we finally got ourselves a FREX Shift Plus sequential shifter. The shifter itself goes for 12,000 yen, which is about $152. And that comes bare with 3 wires that need to be plugged into a USB controller like a Bodner board. And for those of you who don't have a controlling board, you'll also need to buy the FREX controller, bringing the total to 14,930 yen, or roughly $189. Taking a good look at the unit, you will notice 2 things: its simplicity as well as its very sturdy construction. There is a clamp with a knob for mounting that will accommodate any surface from very thin up to about 3 inches thick. There's also a rubber gripper included to help the mount not slip. It also has holes that would make hard mounting the shifter very easy. When looking at the shifter from the bottom, you can see the FREX shifter is not much more complicated than a switch and some springs. There are also nuts on the springs in order to allow for increasing or decreasing resistance on the shifter mechanism. Assembly is very straightforward. Plug in the 3 wires as per the instructions, plug in a USB cable, and you're good to go. In the future, I'll mount the control board in a box of sorts, but for now, I'm just running it bare. When plugged into the computer, it will immediately show up as your next controller. In my case, that meant the 3rd controller behind my wheel and my pedals. After the shifter was mounted and installed on my computer, I just had to map it in-game to be running. My very first shift was met with high resistance as well as a clunk as it finally shifted the gear. My next shift, I put a little more arm into it and quickly shifted gears with a very positive click as the gear was engaged. Going into 3rd, again I slammed that shifter into gear and knew exactly when the car's gear would change because I felt it in my hand. I've actually driven 2 different sequential cars in my lifetime, a Star Mazda and a shifter cart. The shifter reminds me of exactly what shifting with a sequential is supposed to feel like. The only thing really missing is the engine pulling me back in my seat with each shift. I did miss a few shifts at first as well, each of them the result of me not pressing the stick hard enough. Now I could reduce the amount of spring pressure to make it easier, but in my case, I'm just going to press the shifter that much harder. Now we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go over the pros, the cons, and score the FREX Shift Plus.
Tamiya's extensive lineup of radio-controlled vehicles provides hobbyists with the joy of running exact replicas of their favorite car, tank, or off-road vehicle. Another attraction of these vehicles is their use of high-grade materials, such as nylon resin, carbon fiber, and polycarbonate. With precise mechanical systems, the maintenance and adjustment of the various components, as well as performance upgrading with optional parts, allows for truly competitive racing. For more information about Tamiya, visit us at www.tamiyausa.com.
Welcome back to the FREX Shift Plus review, and now we're going to go over the pros and cons of the shifter, starting with the cons. And the first one is the price. I mean, it is fairly expensive, and it is just a little bit of aluminum, a couple of springs, a switch, a knob. I mean, I figure I could build this for about half the cost that they're charging. However, then it would look like I built the thing. And I'd also question how long will it last if I built the thing, and this thing is built to last. The next thing is the semi-unfinished look of FREX stuff. And as you can see, the bottom of the unit lets you see what's going on, and the controller comes totally bare. The last con that I really have is the amount of need. A sequential shifter is not going to make you faster. This is money spent in the name of realism, not performance. Now let's talk about the pros of the FREX Shift Plus. It's solid and it's built to last. The shifter is beefy, overbuilt, and looks like it can take anything that I throw at it. so much so that you better have a very stable rig to mount it to. Next is it's simple in design, but it still looks cool. This definitely looks like an upgraded shifter, a high performance shifter, and it will absolutely make your rig look more Trek. Next is the great shifting feel. Again, it nearly duplicates the feel of the sequentials that I've used in the past. Positive click feel, plenty of resistance, and very smooth at the same time. Next is the adjustability in the spring tension, allowing anyone to duplicate the amount of pressure that they want. Next, it's a good mounting solution. If you're using a flat surface like a desk, between the gripper and the clamp, it's going to stay on there well. I have it mounted to only a small piece of metal and it is holding on great, as well as the ability to bolt it down if preferred. So in the case of the FREX Shift Plus, you can see that the pros far outweigh the cons, and therefore on the rev scale, we're going to give it a 9 out of 10. For anybody who's looking to add realism when driving sequential cars, it's going to be hard to beat the FREX shifter. I mean, considering its durability, its adjustability, its beefy, cool design, and all of those features make this shifter well worth the money for anyone looking for the ultimate in sequential shifters. If you want to check it out for yourself, go to www.frex.com/GP, and you can check it out as well as many other products that they have. So that's going to do it for the FREX Shifter Plus review. I hope you've enjoyed the review. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.